Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today we have Sports News episode 74, and we will also be breaking down my thoughts on Tom Brady's retirement and what the Buccaneers could potentially do to replace him. Starting off with the NBA, Wizards star Bradley Beal will miss at least a week with a wrist injury, and this is a big blow to the Wizards because he's one of the best scorers in the NBA, although he's only averaging about 23 points this season. Other seasons he's been up over 30 points. Pistons' Jeremy Grant returns to the lineup today after missing 24 games with a wrist injury. The NBA All-Star Game starters have been announced. The All-Star Game is February 20th. The captains are LeBron and Kevin Durant. It's just split up into the East and the West. So Team LeBron, which is the Western Conference, the starters are LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, and Ja Morant. And Team Durant, in the East, we have Kevin Durant, Giannis, Joel Embiid, Trae Young, and DeMar DeRozan. Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be out past the All-Star Game with an ankle sprain. Jazz veteran Joe Ingles will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL. And Mavericks' Tim Hardaway Jr. has no timetable for a return after breaking his foot. The best teams in the NBA, the Suns 40-9, the Warriors 38-13, and the Grizzlies 35-18. The worst are the Rockets 14-36, Pistons 12-37, and Magic 11-40. On to the NHL. The NHL All-Star Game is set for this weekend, with the skills contest being Friday and the All-Star Game being Saturday. Canadiens goaltender Carey Price is hoping he will make an NHL return this season after undergoing knee surgery. Nathan MacKinnon of the Avalanche will miss at least 3 games, plus the All-Star Game, with facial fractures. And defenseman Brayden McNabb signed a 3-year, $8.55 million contract with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. The best teams are the Panthers 32-9-5, Avalanche 32-8-3, and Hurricanes 31-9-2. Worst are the Kraken 14-26-4, Coyotes 10-29-4, and Canadiens 8-29-7. Quick things from the MLB, and then we'll get to the NFL. The MLB and the MLB Players Association did not make any progress today, and spring training starting on time may be in doubt. The MLB The Show video game announced the cover athlete for the 2022 game, and that will be Angels two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani. Alright, on to the NFL. Tom Brady announced his retirement this morning after 22 seasons in the NFL, which is actually half his life. Brady's won 7 Super Bowls, which is more than any franchise. So now this is obviously a big blow for the Buccaneers, because he went there and just brought them a Super Bowl. But now they also have lots of players that are on one-year contracts that may need to get re-signed, or just have contracts expiring, such as Rob Gronkowski and Chris Godwin. There's obviously several others, but those are just 2. So now, what do I think the Buccaneers should do at quarterback now that Tom Brady's moved on from football? Well, I don't think they should or they will draft a quarterback. They drafted Kyle Trask last year. And when I thought of Kyle Trask, and I saw him play in college, he's not a very mobile quarterback. So he reminds me a lot of Tom Brady. I don't know if you remember my mock draft. He ended up going in the very end of the second round with the 64th overall pick to the Buccaneers. But I actually had him going number 32 to the Patriots. But when I thought of him, I thought of either the Patriots or the Buccaneers. And their backups are Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert. Obviously, Blaine Gabbert is not an NFL starter. I think Kyle Trask could be good someday, but I think he's going to need a little bit more time to develop into a viable starting option. I think the Buccaneers will go sign a quarterback such as a free agent like Jameis Winston or Teddy Bridgewater. I really don't think they're going to trade for someone like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, but that's just me. So let me know what you think the Buccaneers should do at quarterback in the comments below. Conference championship game recaps. Joe Burrow led the Bengals back from being down 21-3 at the half to force overtime and win the game. So 13 seconds came up with the Chiefs again. So obviously, I'm sure as you know, they beat the Bills, or they forced overtime with 13 seconds left as they drove down the field. That was the amount of time remaining on the clock, and there was 13 seconds remaining on the clock with the Chiefs down near the goal line at the end of the second half. No, the first half. Sorry, the end of the second quarter. I meant. And they could not score. Bengals rookie Evan McPherson made the game-winning field goal in overtime to send them to the Super Bowl. The Rams picked the best possible time to snap their losing streak against the 49ers as they advanced to the Super Bowl, and this marks the second time in 2 seasons that a team will be hosting their own Super Bowl. Last year, it was done by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And even though they are playing in SoFi Stadium, which is home of the Rams, the Rams will actually be the visiting team, and the Bengals will be home because the NFC and the AFC alternate home teams, and last year the Buccaneers were home, who are from the NFC. It looks like the Trey Lance era will start in San Francisco as the 49ers are looking to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm pretty sure we all expected that. We expected Garoppolo to play this year, and depending on how good he was, continue to play, and then Trey Lance would take over in 2022. The Giants hired former Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll as their head coach. This checked all my boxes for the Giants. As soon as I saw they hired Joe Schoen, who was the Bills' assistant general manager, who was my first preference for the Giants to hire as GM. But as soon as they hired him for general manager, I said they needed an offensive-minded coach, and I liked the Bills' offensive coordinator for the job because the Giants had an absolutely atrocious offense last season, and I really think you're not going to be able to improve it unless you go out and get a offensive-minded head coach and a good offensive coordinator. The Giants were also looking at Bills' quarterbacks coach for offensive coordinator. However, the Bills promoted the quarterbacks coach, Ken Dorsey, to offensive coordinator. The Giants also hired the Bills' offensive line coach, which is another much-needed upgrade because the Giants also had a horrendous offensive line, and both Joe Schoen and Daboll have said they're going to stick with Daniel Jones at quarterback, which I think is a very good move because we haven't really seen what Daniel Jones can do. He was hurt the second half. His players were made of glass, and I think he took a step forward. We just couldn't see it because everyone was always hurt. Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh has expressed interest in the Dolphins and the Vikings head coaching positions. I personally think Harbaugh will be coaching in the NFL come the start of the football season in 2022. I think it's probably going to be in Minnesota. And the Raiders have hired Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels as their new head coach. And 2 tight end injuries. The Bengals' C.J. Uzomah and the Rams' Tyree Higbee both left the games with MCL sprains, and both have their status in question for the Super Bowl. The Winter Olympics are starting. The opening ceremonies for the Winter Games are Thursday, with early sports such as curling starting tomorrow. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me who you think the Buccaneers should replace Tom Brady with. And I will see you tomorrow for my NFL award predictions.